Hi there, this is Questy. This is my boy here, QuestySparks. And we are approaching the end of the base game, but on our way there, we're going to take a quick side detour into the crypt. And we're going to get ourselves a devotion point and a little bit of XP, and hopefully not killed. As you can see, we are just about to ding another level, and that's going to bring us ever closer to unlocking Stormcaller's Pact, which is going to be a nice little buff for our build. So let's get straight to it, shall we? Alright, this forbidding little place is full of ghouls and lots of vitality draining on death effects, so we're going to have to make sure we don't stand in the bad. With that said, there's that level already. We'll just keep pumping it into magic damage output, and we are starting to dump things into our specialty tab there, which we don't want to do. Alright, 3 more points. We are getting very close, and we are leveling very fast. So in 2 levels, we should have this up to, I think, 5. I'm not 100% sure. I know we've got a couple levels for... Oh, yeah, so 6, because we've got 3 levels of Stormcaller's Pact on there. I'm pretty sure that's it, as far as additional levels for it go straight off the bat. But still. You know, this is another one that I really should look at. And I might even do that this episode. You may as well go into the last boss having actually brought your relic up to date, because I'm a couple generations behind where that relic should be. But anyway, let's press on now, and we'll worry about that later. Hopefully it won't come back to haunt me here. I don't think so, though. I mean, we have been doing very well for ourselves lately. Lots of firepower. Things are just kind of getting deleted here, and that is good by me. Let's get our little death trap set up here. And we are going to have to be careful. See, we are taking some damage here. There's a lot of nastiness for us to end up standing in. And you can see it does drain my health pretty fast. These guys, their on-death effect is actually very strong.
Skill's not ready.
I found that it's more of an issue when you have, like playing Pyromancer, for example, where you're just laying these vast pools of fire everywhere, and kind of not really paying attention to what's on the ground because you can't really see it. That is a dangerous time to be, you know, walking around somewhere where the enemies are all leaving on-death effects. That's very Path of Exile-y, right? You can't see what's killing you, but something sure is. Oh, got a group coming in from behind as well. That's no problem. I don't actually know all the special loot locations for breaking jars and stuff like that, so every once in a while I'll just flail at one randomly, because there are a number of unique items and stuff that are hidden in fairly innocuous looking places like that. And those are always set locations as well, right? You're always going to get the same loot drop out of some of these things. But it's difficult to remember where they all are. I do know the location of a number of them throughout the game and the DLCs, but just not all. Okay, so let's see. We can go through the caverns here. I think I want to go this way first. Doesn't really matter. We can figure it out. Yeah, so this will get us to the same spot. Come get me, spiders. There you go. Okay, lots of bodies in here. These ghouls have been having a little bit of a feast. Welcome, spider. Let me introduce you to my storm totems. Alright, we actually do have a pretty interesting skull boss in this cave. He's basically just a big one of those ghouls, but the ghouls are pretty dangerous. I mean, you can kind of see they do a fair amount of vitality decay damage, and that I'm not, you know, cripplingly vulnerable to it, but I do have a relatively low resistance. Okay, we've got some guys pissed off over in there. Go get a couple of totems down. And a couple more. Wouldn't hurt. Now, I wonder actually, this would be a question for the theory crafters who aren't too lazy to look it up. I wonder if casting speed affects the rate of fire of my totems. That is perhaps something I'm going to have to poke around Reddit for. Because that would mean that would actually be a tremendously valuable stat for me to sort of emphasize if I've got, you know, because sometimes there's an item that's like, okay, well, this item is, you know, relatively similar to the other, but has 80% more lightning damage. It's like, okay, well, that's obvious. But when you have a couple of items that are very close, it's those little things that you want to be looking out for, like which of these small modifiers is actually going to give me a big return. And so not knowing something like that, like I would assume perhaps that it wouldn't, because, you know, it's not technically me casting the spells, so it would make sense that it wouldn't actually affect the casting time. I don't know that. And if it does, it means that I'd be making a stupid decision if maybe I took like a scepter or something that, you know, had plus 8% cast speed and didn't use it for, you know, largely because of whatever, like maybe 1 or 2 points of something somewhere else, when in fact it would make a big difference to my overall damage up. But okay, so you can see I kind of ended up a little bit trapped there, which is annoying. And that's once again just because the move skill does not allow me to hop over this guy. So I was just basically bouncing around in there. Still, no big deal. No concerns there. He just could not handle the DPS. We'll just get our little turret trap up here. Alright. So everything's quiet. Get ourselves that point. Now I did figure out, I took a quick look to figure out what we were doing. We're heading down here because that 50% electrocute and duration, that would be nice for us. And this will also give us enough of the Ascended to unlock this precious lightning bolt over here. So we're just about there. All right, so we need to go around the top. Oh, no, we don't. We can go through here, can't we? Yeah. Okay, there we go. And I think I might be more expedient just hopping out of here with a port to the gates. And then our next task is to just get all the way into this place. We'll just go around this way, make sure we get all the kills that we can. And there's a little XP laying on the ground. No reason not to. Actually, let's just prep the welcome party for these guys. Ow, hey, come on, man. Oops, dead end. Okay. Yeah, so we need to get sort of into this area, I believe, and that's where we've got our next waypoint. It's going to be a contested waypoint here, but once we secure it, then I believe Ulgrim or Creed or both, or, you know, the Black Legion, basically, they'll come up and take that as a forward camp. And then our next stop is basically the Blood God Summoning Chamber, with a sprinkling of other bosses and nonsense in between. Here we've got actually kind of an interesting guy. This is one of a couple cool sort of blacksmiths that you're going to be able to find. This undead guy, the Cursed Smith, basically he gives a couple different effects here. Energy regen, bleeding resistance, and vitality resistance. This is his little extended one, and that's actually quite good because most smiths are only going to give you basically one thing, right? So like if you look at this, my completion bonus was crit damage. I think I completed this one maybe with Black Legion, but I can't remember. But so he would give me a much better completion there. So we could technically, if we wanted to, we could look right now at what we could do here. So if we were to say we need lightning damage, we could take a look and find that we could do Savage, which gives us all damage, which is pretty nice. It would give us a Stormhound as well, but he scales with pet bonuses, which we haven't been emphasizing. That is definitely something that I'm going to be like 0% chance that I don't use that at level 50, but we can't use it yet. So probably this would be our upgrade path to go to this one right here. And you might think I should look for elemental damage, but ultimately that's what this one does, right? Like all damage and elemental damage will also show up as lightning because it knows that, you know, that's within that category, even though it's not the direct term. So this one here, we can bang one of these out right away. All we need to do is craft some dense fur, which I think we can probably do right away here. Yeah, so let's get that, and then let's head back, and let's get, what did we just say? Squall. There we go. All right, so we've got ourselves a Squall relic here. Let's equip that. Yeah, see, the one that we have there is really defensive. So let's take a look here. Okay, so we've actually come down a little bit on our Ellie resist. I'm not too worried, especially in the veteran playthrough. This is still pretty high resistance for veteran. And obviously this one here is going to give us some extra damage. That 5% chance of plus 120% is not bad. Basically that, I believe, and this is something that I would have to look up, but I believe that 5% chance should proc every time we cast. So every time we lay a totem, every time we do any of that, we're basically rolling a d20, we roll a 20, we buff to 120% lightning damage. But I don't know whether it's single attacks, because it doesn't give a duration there. That's something that I should really look into, because I'm wondering whether what that means is when I cast a lightning ability, that ability just has 120% extra damage on that casting, or what. I'll have to look it up. But either way, we'll take this one. It gives us that lightning storm ability. We can bind that in and potentially give that a use every once in a while, because it does summon a cloud that actually lasts for a few seconds, so we can add that to our attack rotation. So we'll do that by just dropping it down over here. Once again, fingers cut off, yada yada. That's why I have all these weird keys bound to this. But there we go. Let's go give it a try. Oh, and then the other thing I was talking about too, if you look at this here, so look at that completion bonus, right? 4% physique, cunning, and spirit. Fantastic, right? Because our old one here, 4% crit damage. Like, I mean, you can see which one is better. That's why sometimes it pays to wander out and use these guys, right? Because, yeah, so basically what this is crafted weapons, armor, and accessories are imbued with one of the following properties. We didn't get that, which is kind of weird, and I would have assumed we would, but we still got 3 properties. So that's not too bad. Oh, yeah, no, I figured out why. It gave us 3 properties, but because it wasn't armor or weapons, it's actually other. It's a relic. That's probably why we didn't get it. That would make sense. Wow, look at how tanky that little fucker is. Doesn't matter, pal. You're dead. Okay, we probably should report back at some point here and just sell a bunch of this stuff. But that would be the smart thing to do, and I'm not that kind of person, so let's carry on forward. Alright, nothing of note. Okay, I think we actually maybe find our next objective down there, but I'm not 100% sure. Is it? No, it is not. Okay. Well, no problem. We might not have a waypoint here, but we certainly have some XP that we can mine. These guys are incredibly tough here. The ethereal abominations. So they're basically some of the crystals that grow out of the ground. They can grow into that. I don't know if you've seen that in this playthrough yet, but it's a thing. And they are very tanky and quite dangerous, actually. I mean, not too big a deal for this guy, but I think if I did kind of get cornered or stunned by something else and then got pounced on by one of those, it could be an issue because they take a while to bring down. Now, of course, the other thing that's going on here that's kind of fun and interesting is, and I say that in the usual sarcastic Grim Dawn way, is that realistically we're injecting ourselves into a fight between the Ethereals and the Chthonians because they hate each other. They're extra-dimensional beings. Both of them are trying to take this world for their own. Of course, Chthon, the blood god, he's got this stupid cult trying to bring him back. And at the same time, the Ethereals are trying to essentially terraform this world, right? Of course, terraform means to make Earth-like, so they're ether-forming this world, I guess you could say. But essentially, they're fighting for control, and we're just stuck in the middle. And it's not a good place to be. Okay, we're going to get a couple of these laid out here, because they actually have quite a long duration. Let's get one more, and then let's start this. Let's get some curse down on them. Make sure we keep all of these active. Wow, look at this guy just tanking the world. Impressive. Okay, and that's actually a good devotion point too, if I remember correctly, because bam, there's 50% more electrocution damage with 20% duration. Although the duration doesn't really seem to be too big an issue, honestly. Things die pretty fast.
That skill's not ready.
Oh, look at that. Boy, that sure arcs a long ways. I am a chain lightning enjoyer, I would say. Okay, so this just loops back around. We'll just keep pressing on forward here.
I can't do that yet.
Alright, this looks suspiciously like a waypoint encounter.
That skill's not ready.
Of course, the Black Legion will show up right after I've taken care of all this. Now, some of these enemies are actually kind of dangerous here, which you can sort of see from... oh, and I've been forgetting to use... Well, that was over so quick. I just remembered I have that lightning storm that I could be using as well. Let's see how that reacts. That actually reminded me of blood for a second there. It works. I will say it works. That's pretty impressive, considering that's just a little sort of item-born ability. I like it. It did some damage.
It appears that the rich...
So when you think about that just being supplementary... Okay, so what he's asked me to do there, you can see... I'll actually go back really quick here. Let's make sure we use that in our rotation, just to make things even more ridiculous for my enemies. Okay, that guy was tanky as fuck. Alright, so looking down here, you can see we can get down here right now, but as you can see, the crypt entrance is sealed by the Cult of Chthon. Which means we're going to have to go and destroy some of their blood magic. They've got some carts of blood hidden around here. Not really hidden, but, you know, just distributed around, and they're sort of using that blood to power the barrier. We're going to go ruin their little carts full of blood. Maybe if they'd been a little more friendly, maybe if they'd just given people a lollipop after they donated blood, instead of, you know, hanging them by hooks over bathtubs and stuff like that, maybe we wouldn't be so hostile. But that's not what you did, is it? So now it's electrocution for the lot of you. I'm just gonna poke around here because I don't 100% remember where all of those are. So we'll have to poke around a bit. Let's just use all of our skills here. Yeah, zone of death right there. And I took a little bit off the edge as well. That is one of the things that you have to deal with when I don't have, I don't even have any off-tanking pets right now. So, and it would be terribly difficult for pets to tank against my DPS anyway. But if you don't have one, enemy is coming right at you. So even though they're dying fast, you're going to often be in range of their on-death effects and stuff like that. Okay, so here's one of the carts that we need to destroy. And that doesn't take long. Turns out they're a little fragile considering how important they are to them. Okay, there we go. So that's one cart killed. Let's keep scouting around and get the rest. That will have been eastern, I guess. Northern is going to be up here somewhere, so we'll just keep pressing off in this direction. Pressing off, pressing on, or heading off. Make my choice. I'm exactly the same with English as I am with video games. I'm like a 8,000 hour casual in video games and very similar with my relationship with English. I've been using it for years and I still barely know what I'm doing. Okay, so there, once again, we just got licked by the side of his little life explosion there. Alright, so we're going to prep for this one. We already have one totem out. They're going to run down, but we're just going to see what we can do about laying a little field of totems out here. Because we actually have a fair amount of duration on these. Okay, we actually ate a lot of explosion damage there, and I was kind of lucky. I should have been quicker getting that potion off. I was looking at my damage, enjoying everything getting nuked, and it nearly cost me. Alright, and speaking of cost, at this point we're carrying around enough loot here that I'm going to go back and put some of this away, and then we'll press on. We should be able to unlock the final level. This is probably going to go fairly well. One more episode after this, possibly two, probably one, and that will wrap up our playthrough of the original part of the game. I may or may not press on. I am actually planning to do a let's play of Rack's name.
Save storage. No
Trying to remember what the hell it's called. I'll stuff all these. Oh, I didn't want to stuff that in there. It's a game. It's kind of a little bit sort of old school Final Fantasy-esque. I tried it out the other day. I really thought it looked great. And for the life of me, Battle Chasers Night War. There we go. That's what it was called. I realized that one of my buddies was chatting about it when we were having brunch, and I realized I actually owned it. So I went ahead, installed it, checked it out, really liked how it looked. And so I'm going to do a let's play of that. And so what I might do is we'll just finish out with this character, the main portion of the game. And then after that, I will go over and work on that potentially. So this episode, we're going to make sure that we get all of the carts. We're going to open the gate to the final area. And then next episode, we're going to clear that area and finish off this part of the game. And then we might take a relatively brief pause, or, well, I actually don't know how brief it'll be. I don't know how long Battle Chasers is. I don't know anything about that game. Just that I thought it looked like a pretty fun change of pace from what I'm doing right now, because obviously the other thing that I'm playing on the channel here is Shadows Awakening, which is sort of a simple linear ARPG kind of game as well. And the other thing is, too, Grim Dawn is, it can get almost a little fatiguing just because I do play not just this build, but a number of others as well. You know, I love the game, and so I play it quite a bit, even sort of off screen or on stream as well, now that I've kind of started poking around at doing that. So I don't want to overload too much on it. Okay, here we got another cart right here. Let's get some of our nonsense over here and try to take it out. There we go. Gates and Necropolis is updated again. We've got one more wagon to find, and then we are good to go. So that's the northern one. That could well be right in here, but we'll take a quick look up here just to be sure that we're not missing it. I don't think so. But you never know. Nope, just a couple of random demons. Okay, so let's head down the stairs here, and then we should be right on target. Okay, yeah, here we go. We got it. Drop some lightning on these fools. Oh, okay, we got a little bit of a scenario there. Okay, that's it. We've depowered the shields. We can head over to the entrance. Okay, we've got some Black Legion getting involved in this as well now. They seem quite eager to make up for the loss of the capital city, but here we go. All right, so this is it. This is the entrance to essentially the final couple of dungeon levels before we face Chthon the Blood God as he tries to crawl his way out of the abyss and into our reality. But we're going to electrocute his dumbass and send him back to the other side of the electric fence. But that's going to be next time. So I hope you enjoyed yourself in this one. I hope I'll see you back next time. Till then.